I went to a high-end nightclub in Beijing last weekend, and I witnessed one of the most bizarre and surreal scenes I've ever seen in a place like that. Everything was normal: loud music, beautiful people, expensive drinks. Until, in the VIP area, two well-dressed men quietly called the manager over. They pointed at two girls who were dancing near the dance floor. Nothing unusual, they were just having fun like everyone else. A few minutes later, the manager walked up to the girls very politely. But what he said completely shocked me. "Your appearance doesn't match the atmosphere." The girls were clearly confused. They asked why, started getting upset, and said it was discrimination. Then they began causing a scene right there on the dance floor. Yelling, crying, calling it out. And then came the most surreal part. The manager pulled out a roll of cash from his pocket, as if it was the most normal thing in the world, and handed them money to leave. Yes, they were literally paid to leave the club. As if they were ruining the perfect image of the night. I was in shock. Never in my life did I think I'd witness something like that in person. It was without a doubt one of the most elitist and bizarre things I've ever seen in a place like that. And the worst part? Most people around acted like it was completely normal.
Theoretically, whether you go clubbing or not has absolutely nothing to do with me. Like the saying goes, I may not be a fan, but I'm not dumb enough to stop you from spending your money, let alone stop others from going. Clubbing is a legal form of entertainment, and everything you consume there is heavily taxed. So in a way, you're burning yourself to light up others. It's just like luxury goods. If you've got the money, go buy Louis Vuitton or Gucci and pay the crazy taxes. If not, grab a wallet from a cheap local store. That's life. But now imagine this. What if I told you that some people are using the same Hermes bag you spent thousands on, without paying a single cent? Wouldn't you feel a little stupid? Like the thing you saved up for just lost all its value? You might even regret buying it. Well, that's exactly what happens with drinks in high-end nightclubs. While you're there dropping 3,000, 5,000, sometimes even 10,000 yuan on drinks, the table right next to yours is drinking the exact same thing. For free. I host a lot of couch surfers, people traveling the world by staying in strangers' homes. Some are just tourists hopping from one city to another. Others come to China for work or school and settle down for a while. When they pass through Hangzhou, a few of them stay at my place. One guy was chatting with me when he paused to answer a message. His friend had just invited him to one of the most famous and expensive clubs in the city. I asked, "Are you going?" He said, "Nah, I went last night. I'm wiped." Then he showed me a bunch of photos from the night before. Glamorous crowd, expensive drinks, flashing lights, the whole scene. Then he looked at me and asked, "Do you want to go? I can take you." I laughed and said, "Not a chance. Clubs like that? Way out of my league. Just hearing about the prices gives me a headache." And then he gave me this sly little smile and said, "You know why we foreigners go to these clubs so much? Because we don't pay." I'd heard rumors, but hearing it directly from someone hits different. He explained, "You Chinese guys go to clubs and stand still. We foreigners go in, dance, have fun, make a scene. Club owners give us free drinks to create a vibe and attract the locals to spend." I said, "Sounds like a side gig. You work the crowd, and drinks are your pay." He laughed. "Sort of. But it's not really payment. We don't get money. Just free alcohol." I asked if it was some kind of secret. He said, "Technically, yeah. The paying Chinese customers don't know we're just there to liven up the place. But I don't care. I'm not doing it for money." He's an engineer. Makes good money back home. He told me he's never been to a club in his own country. Said he preferred to spend his money on learning and traveling. But in China, he goes out all the time and doesn't spend a thing. And that's when I shared my own story, because I've been kicked out of a club before. Yeah, actually kicked out. Not because I caused trouble. Not because I was drunk. I had money and was ready to spend. But the manager came up to me and said, with a straight face, "Your appearance doesn't match the atmosphere." Just like that. And that's when I finally understood the brutal difference between regular clubs and these ultra-exclusive ones. In a normal club, if you've got money, you're welcome to stay. Your money matters. But in these top-tier places, they don't care about your money, because just 2 or 3 people in the room, sons of politicians, heirs of massive companies, can drop enough cash in a single night to cover the club's expenses for the entire month. So the logic is different. The owner's not trying to please the masses. He's trying to keep those 2 or 3 VIPs happy. And if you don't contribute visually to their ideal environment, you'll be asked to leave, even if your wallet's full. And guess who does contribute to that image? Good-looking foreigners drinking for free. It's a system, a business model. Whenever new international students arrive, upperclassmen take them straight to the clubs and introduce them to the owners. It's all organized. Among foreigners, it's an open secret. And that's why I'm telling you this. Because before you go out and drop thousands on a table, you deserve to know the truth. And if after hearing all this you still want to go clubbing and spend your money, hey, that's your call. But here's a suggestion. Ask for a receipt. At least make sure they pay their taxes and your money serves some purpose. See you around.
今天邻居打架。
I was at a luxury nightclub in Beijing, the kind of place where you need a reservation, a serious face, and a sharp outfit just to get in. It was impressive. Everyone was well-dressed, champagne bottles flying around, waiters carrying drinks like they were holding gold. I'll admit, I put on my best look. I wanted the full experience. After a while, I saw a pretty girl dancing near the bar. And I thought, why not? I walked up respectfully, tried to make conversation, kept it light. She politely turned me down. No big deal, it happens. But a few minutes later, I noticed 2 huge security guards heading my way. My heart sank immediately. I thought, did she seriously report me just for approaching her? Did I say something wrong? They came up to me and asked if they could speak with me privately. They weren't aggressive. Actually, they were almost too polite. One of them said, "Your appearance doesn't really match the atmosphere. Some guests are feeling uncomfortable." I was stunned. My appearance? Seriously? Then came the unexpected twist, or maybe the best part. "We're willing to offer you $400 to leave quietly, and without making a scene." $400. To leave. Because I wasn't good-looking enough. I looked at the guys, looked at the cash. And of course, I took it. Didn't even hesitate. Walked out with my head high and laughing on the inside. Honestly? I think I hit the jackpot. Some people leave clubs hungover, broke, or disappointed. I left with $400 in my pocket. Maybe being the ugly guy in a rich people's club is a market no one's tapping into yet.
朋友们，大家好。
So, let me tell you what happened the other night. Honestly, I wasn't even planning on going out. It was one of those nights where you just want to stay home, order some food, scroll through YouTube, maybe fall asleep watching a documentary you won't finish. But then my friends started blowing up my phone. "We're going to this exclusive club downtown. Super fancy. New spot. Big crowd. Let's go." I told them I wasn't feeling it. I gave all the classic excuses. "I'm tired. I've got work tomorrow. I just washed my hair, whatever." But they weren't having it. "Come on, man. You're always the funniest one. We need you there. We'll even pay your cover. Just bring the car." And look, I'm not made of stone. The idea of getting out a little, socializing, maybe even living a little, it kind of started to grow on me. So I gave in. I ironed my best polo shirt, found a pair of jeans that still fit without begging, sprayed on some cologne I got as a Christmas gift in 2019, and off we went. When we pulled up, I already knew I didn't belong. The valet gave me the kind of look you give someone who pulls into a luxury dealership and asks for the price of the floor mats. Outside the club, fashion show. Tall guys with cheekbones that could slice bread, girls with designer dresses and heels that defied physics. Meanwhile, I'm out here representing the well-fed but good-hearted demographic. But we got in. Bottle service, loud music, lighting that made everyone look like they belonged in a magazine. And for a little while I was actually having fun. I was vibing. I didn't even feel that out of place anymore. Then I spotted a girl standing near the bar. She seemed a little bored, scrolling through her phone. And I thought, you know what? Be brave. Worst case, she says no. So I approached her, kept it respectful, tried to start a light conversation. She looked up at me, gave me a half smile and said something polite, but clearly uninterested. Stung a little, but it wasn't the end of the world. I walked away thinking, okay, at least I tried. But then, 10 minutes later, 2 security guards in suits came walking directly toward me. Now, I've never been kicked out of anywhere, not even a McDonald's. So I thought, maybe they were looking for someone else. But no, it was me. They asked if they could speak with me privately, and I followed them out of curiosity more than anything. One of them looked at me very calmly and said, "Sir, we've received a few complaints. Your appearance doesn't quite match the environment here. A few guests have expressed discomfort." I had no words. I wasn't drunk. I wasn't rude. I wasn't even dancing badly. I was just apparently visually unpleasant. And then came the offer. "We'd like to offer you $400 to leave quietly. No scene, no issue. Just a smooth exit." First, I thought it was a joke. But no, they were serious. I mean, they were basically paying me to stop lowering the overall attractiveness of the building. So what did I do? I said, "Where do I sign?" Took the money, walked outside, called a ride home. While my friends were inside still spending, still trying to impress people who weren't even paying attention, I was heading home with more money than I walked in with. And that's when it hit me. This club, this scene, it's not about how much you're willing to spend. It's about who you visually attract. In some of these places, especially high-end ones, they don't care if you're rich, funny, kind, or even famous online. They care if you fit the vibe. They care if your presence enhances the Instagram photos of the other tables. Because let's be honest, 1 or 2 VIPs in those places drop so much money in a single night, they could finance the club's rent for the next month. So everything is designed to make them feel like they're in the most exclusive, beautiful space possible. That means curated lighting, curated music, and apparently curated people. And on that night, I just wasn't part of the aesthetic. But I wasn't mad. I was paid to leave. I got home, ordered the biggest combo I could find, watched a rerun of a show no one talks about anymore, and fell asleep feeling strangely victorious. The next morning, my friends texted, "Bro, you left early. You missed out. That party was fire." And I just replied, "Not really. I think I had the most profitable night of all of you. Sometimes not fitting in pays better than trying to. And if that's not a modern-day parable, I don't know what is."
So now even drinking requires a beauty contest? Yeah, that's just how it is these days. Looks are everything. You can literally get kicked out of a bar for not being attractive and still walk away with 300 yuan. Honestly, kind of an interesting job, right? Let's go check it out. So this beauty filter thing, is it really that straightforward? If I'm not good looking, I just don't qualify to be there? Pretty much. Like, are we really at a point where even drinking requires you to be hot? Well, I wouldn't say it's an actual beauty contest. But come on, who doesn't want to hang out with attractive people? Yeah, but who decides what's attractive? Whoever's paying for the party. Their money, their standards. And it goes both ways now for guys and girls. That's the world we live in. Beauty equals value. Hot people party together. That's it. I mean, if someone's dropping cash to host a private event, it's their call. You wanna go? Go. You don't? Then don't. So wait, is this like a real job? Kind of. It's more like a side hustle. You show up at one of these events, and if you get kicked out for not meeting the beauty standard, the host usually sends you a red envelope, like some cash, maybe money for a taxi or late-night food. So like a psychological compensation package? I've never heard of this before. It's trending now. Most of these events are set up by marketing agencies. Oh, so it's like a promo tactic? Exactly. I hook you up with events, you show up at a few parties. If you get rejected, you still get paid. If you don't get rejected, you party for free. I hit my marketing goals and you basically get paid for your face. That's a win-win, huh? But how do they make sure I actually get kicked out? Well, sometimes they ask for pictures, maybe edit them a little. But honestly, with your looks, you're a safe bet. I'll pretend that was a compliment. Look, it's a fast money kind of gig. But if you're sensitive about how others see you or you get upset easily, it's probably not for you. That's not it. It's just that this kind of stuff messes with your self-esteem, you know? Makes people anxious about their appearance. I don't know, doesn't feel very healthy. That's fair. Just think about it. And thanks for the chat.
Today's topic. Have you ever heard of looks-based filtering at bars in China? A netizen recently shared something new, a trend called Ka Yanju, which roughly translates to appearance filtering event. At first, I thought it was just some casual social dinner, but it turned out to be a scene filled with alcohol and hormones, where groups of incredibly attractive men and women gather to indulge in their looks and youth like it's a form of currency. The attractive ones are allowed to stay. The less attractive ones, they're handed 200 RMB and sent home. Seriously, what is going on here? Sometimes I really feel old. Like I can't keep up with the way younger people do things now. I've never even been to a nightclub. From the first wave of fancy bars, to the crazy clubbing scenes, and now these themed live houses, the ways young people let loose just keep evolving. But I never imagined it would go as far as this Ka Yanju thing. When I first heard the term, I thought it was some kind of makeup technique workshop. I couldn't have been more wrong. Ka Yanju, by definition, means there's a threshold for looks. At certain social events among strangers, women are judged based on their appearance before being allowed in. Only the good-looking ones make it past the filter. And yes, there's a literal screening process. That alone shocked me. Can we really say there's any respect in a system that literally filters people by beauty? How is this not just a beauty pageant in disguise? But what really got to me was the reaction of the women involved. I thought surely the ones being filtered out would be upset. But no, many of them were fine with it. Some were even laughing as they walked away with 200 RMB in hand. And the ones who passed the filter? Completely absorbed in their self-image, acting like they were goddesses blessed by fate. There's a whole group of women who fully accepted being viewed as objects, equating self-worth with market value. It's wild. Some people even treat it as a side hustle. Get invited, show up, get kicked out, pocket 200 RMB. Do it a few times a week, and you're making a living just for not being pretty enough. You can't wake someone up if they're pretending to sleep. And these people know the game is rigged. They just don't care. The first time I saw this in action was in a short video. A really pretty girl stood there holding her 200 RMB, nearly in tears because she had just been rejected. Apparently, this is a common rule. These events are often filled with people doing karaoke, drinking, and using the typical men pay, women free strategy. If someone shows up and looks too different from their filtered selfies, they're told, "Hey, grab some late-night food at home. Slap, here's your 200 yuan. Now leave." Some people look at this and think it's a money-making opportunity, but you're not seeing the full picture. Behind the scenes, these organizers mock you, laugh at you, and humiliate you. Sometimes they won't even pay the promised 200. Even if they do, I still can't understand how anyone with a shred of self-respect could participate in this. But hey, if your dignity is worth 200 RMB to you, be my guest. Let them judge you, reject you, and kick you out like a failed product. Because that's exactly how they see you, a product. The sad truth? Even the ones who pass are just being used. Those beautiful women being praised and fawned over are only being set up for other purposes. No one there takes them seriously. At the end of the day, it's all a game, and whether you're the winner or loser, you're still a pawn. Some of these events involve twisted games, tearing tissues, pulling fingers, even weird sock stuff. And every game is just designed to break your guard and see how far you'll go. Honestly, whether you're a guy or girl, you should think twice. These games only give you temporary pleasure, followed by long-term regret. And sure, it's your choice. No one can force you to think otherwise. But for me, this whole Ka Yanju thing is disgusting, not because I think I'm ugly. Even if I looked like a K-drama star, I still wouldn't go. Because it's nothing more than a silent beauty contest where the so-called winners are still treated like property. You think you're adored, but you're just a tool. And no matter how beautiful you are, youth and looks fade. Eventually, that glow wears off. And what's left? Your appearance was never your real value. So what do you think about this Ka Yanju thing? Leave a comment down below. And if you liked this video, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next one.